Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome back to another installment of C.A.B.S. This is C.A.B.S. Episode 4. And this time round, rather than opting for some of the newer guys, we've seen EXOcutioner, we've seen the MEUS Gold Rush, Gary Musey, we've seen Zoku FF, all reasonably new builds, some of them very new. We're going to go today, a little bit of a fresh start out. We're going to go straight to the heavy hitters, looking at what we experienced during Crawlympics 24-25. Today, in the green corner, you all know him. These are proper Class 2 guys here in the Canyon. The two competitors on the day, they will run exactly as they run. We're not going to move tires around. We're not going to move anything around. And Jacob the Snake, who is a bit of a Canyon brew. This is Yella's original body. You can see the yellow coming through. It's a RTR Ecto body, just painted this way. Jake the Snake is a collection of things. The chassis geometry is basically Artful Dodgers GroundFox, interpreted in the Canyon way. Some link positions moved around a little bit, some stuff changed. We're running on straight axles, SSD Diamond Pros, off of an Amazon dig box. I keep reminding myself who needs to have their servo swapped to a micro. It wouldn't hurt. Anyway, proper Class 2 stuff. Chassis mounted steering, brushed, in case you haven't noticed. Hobbywing 1080 G2. And my favorite brushed motor of ever, the Surpass Hobby 540 Plus Rocket V2. This is the 16-turn flavor. Traxxas GTS shocks, and as I halfway mentioned, massaged to accommodate a Capra skid. It is my theory, put into action, that much of Jacob's abilities out on the rocks are brought about by this delightful chocolate and vanilla swirl of geometries. A little bit of Capra, a little bit of Artful Dodgers GroundFox. He drives real different compared to others. Jacob the Snake, a 313 millimeter wheelbase, tipping the scales at a not entirely ultralight 3,228 grams. It is 7.1 pounds. But he gets it done. His bumper is not a small component of that weight. Jake the Snake. Tusks, Three Brothers anti-foams in there. If there's anything I missed. Flash Hobby 60 kg direct power. I will try to remember it. His opponent today in the red corner, some of you might have suspected, LoLo. LoLo, another Canyon cobble. I was handed off the chassis, an associate of the Canyon. This is the Brazin high-low, and it was cut down. He had used it in some sort of sporty build, and they came out with a new model year version. He was like, I have these rails. I don't plan on using them for anything. And he gave him the rails. MEUS nylon axles. Too low gearbox, hence the name. High-low and a too low LoLo. So we have the LoLo. Holmes Hobbies Revolver V2 2200 kV off of a Rhino V80 speed control. Flash Hobby 50 kg magnetic. This is the receiver powered version. Plenty of power coming out of the BEC there. LoLo at a relatively unusual 320 millimeter wheelbase, 2,964 grams, 6.5 pounds. These are J Concepts Megalithics, of course green, J Concepts Tusks. These are Injora green silicone inserts shimmed with fridge foam to fill them out, and they were one of those few rare instances where it just it just happened to work. Like, if the silicones work, they stay in the tire. More often than not, they don't kind of match up with what we have going on. These happen to match up with what we have going on. I don't know. I don't know what else to add. Trex's GTS, Amazon Chavtex, 90mm shocks across the board. You will see much more skid forward on LoLo. Quite skid forward. Has to use the crinkle bend uppers. And Jake, a more conventional, much more conventional operation. Also, we are looking at portals versus straights. But again, historically, Jake drives different. These two rigs have been largely unchanged in their layout. He went from a G1 1080 to a G2. And this guy just got the Holmes 2200 in there because he was running a Fusion for quite a while. Running a big old Fusion. And it was like just clearing. So there's a lot more space available in there now. And I think, as of recent, the performance has been improved. I believe I fabricated these uppers. He's just a hodgepodge of links, whatever links fit. Sourcing the links out to get onto this low geometry was a bit of a trick. The biggest amount of custom work we have here, well, we had to shim the too low. It's on a 10mm spacer to raise it up. It was so low that everything hit everything else, but that was back when we were on a Fusion. Yeah, see, that lower link would come up and go right where the motor was. So we might have a revisit to do on LoLo. We can probably drop that gearbox down a decent ways. This is also not a skid for this gearbox, if memory serves. It might be, it might not be. But we might be able to drop that thing down. Maybe improve our front drive shaft angle, which is pretty crazy. But they go out the way they are. I've got Jake's battery right here. We're going to go out there. We're going to do the 5 points. We're going to see how we do. Some people are going to fall down. That's usually what happens on a day like today. It is near perfect conditions, canyon-wise, out there in terms of temperature. It's a nice, cool spring morning. C.A.B.S. Jake and LoLo, I don't know if you could really take two more different approaches to the same sort of thing. These are proper Class 2 guys, and I'm really just kind of interested to see what's going to happen. We begin, of course, at the Sidehill. The numbers are 55, 13, 60. 55 degrees freedom units, 13 degrees Celsius, about 60% relative humidity. This is not a section that, I mean, I know we begin on the Sidehill because that's how you start a rough day. But we are talking about Jake the Snake. We can get, I was going to say, we can get in so deep. That was, if I put LoLo in the same spot, they're going to roll out as well. Okay. Normal approach here. Come right here, we turn up, we get that rise. You can just kind of boom. Like, as long as we don't go way too, like he was down here. And still, we set it down. There's something about that hybrid geometry. And mind you, he has dig, did not need to use it. Jake, there is a straight axle advantage on Sidehills. Certainly. LoLo, we will try not to fall too down low. Like right in there, coming across this little, there's a double transition. We get the high side up over this little prong right there. And then the low side is not getting help because river rock is not particularly grippy. LoLo never feels light through there. Like we don't have that big transfer high side to low side. Front end pushes a little bit, but see how we can just cut around it? Exact same thing. I wonder, can I get... I just snapped a rear link. I accelerated so quickly. There it is. You never have to worry. If you're running an outrunner, you never have to worry about not enough power. I'm just gonna go ahead and say I'm getting really good at replacing rod ends with the introduction of Mount Tumbledore as an obstacle. We break a lot of rod ends. I want to get in as low as I did with Jake. Not too spicy, not too spicy. Okay, reel down low across the face. There you go, right there. Yeah, drop it in. And kind of slid it through. Ooh. Right there at the low limit. A little edge to LoLo. Through the middle though, eesh. Nobody slithers through as low as Jake does. Figure we'll just keep handing it back and forth. I also have a bit more wheel time with these two than I have with a lot of others. So I kind of know where to drive to it. Second load. Got a little pinch there. Got a little pinch there. Right there. A little pull, a little nudgy pull. Okay, we want to see the pirouette here. Up over. Yeah, it takes a long time. You got to be pretty far into it before LoLo feels like they're out of shape. The wrap, a little wide on the wrap. Probably could have initiated that cut in a little bit sooner. We want to catch the edge of this ridge right here. It goes exactly where we want it to go. Unhook the body. Come around, we do this top spin here. Very tight through, as we would anticipate. None of that squidgy transfer. Pushed a little bit. Pushed a little bit. Get the belly through. Come across. Don't make me have to get up and reset. Yeah. It is as close to trouble-free as one can make it. And now we're talking... between the bag and the lack of portals, we're probably talking 13, 14 millimeters less ground clearance. We also don't have cab. There's no skid forward. But Jake makes up for that in just a ridiculous amount of drive. And the Diamond Pro stands out as one of my favorite axles that there is, because they don't get hung up on stuff. They just go. We come across here, we got that big bumper to get past. I'm not digging. I'm not gonna dig unless I absolutely have to. See on the drop here. Jake, a little nose stander, not surprising. So right here, we'll help that swivel. And then we're right here, we can help him pivot again. Nice little cut in. Do another little one. Come across that face, want to get that tire right about there. This is the ultimate strength of Jake the Snake as far as I'm concerned, which is I know my line. I know where I want to position a tire, and Jake will go, yes, right there. There's nothing about that Geo, there's nothing about his suspension setup that is, you have to drive to me. I will go wherever. Oh, I didn't want to dig it. I could have dug it and it would have popped right through. So dig is a tool. It's a tool, and you don't need it all the time. But when you have a dig that cuts and uncuts as precisely and as reliably as the venerable $60 Amazon tricolor dig box with a cheap servo on it. You use it with an overwhelming level of confidence. Like we can. What do you want to do? Wherever you want to position him, the drive, and you genuinely forget that he's straight axle. Like the clearances, he feels like a mullet even though he's not. You get the nose through and he's through. LoLo, on the other hand, is just like, I mean, look at the clearance over that rock. We're not bound at all. Just right through. Like look at the breakover. So they both have tools, and oddly, the part that's as surprising to me as anything is that they tackle things more similarly than you would think. Easy stuff, out of the way, onto gates. Little mid-skid hang there. Ooh, poked it a little. But like, we're so straight up and down there. And the dig just set him right down. You don't even need to spend the time. You just drive into the line and Jake will sort it out while it's in process. He is so forgiving in terms of, oh, I didn't quite hit my entry just right. A lot of rigs, a lot of builds, sometimes there's parts of geo you can't quite tune out where a rig goes, no, I don't really like to do that. Portal advantage here. Portal advantage here. Which was easier? LoLo slightly, but again, going second also really helps. Where we've gotten to right here, it's an absolute wash. Two dramatically different approaches providing a very similar result. LoLo is going first here, but Jake's got to move out of the way a little. He'll go a level of fraternal confidence so high, he'll go right in the fall zone. Because honestly, I will be surprised. I will be genuinely surprised if LoLo doesn't hook the top side right here, hook over, pull the rear tire up over the face. We want to push high side. We're getting a little out of shape. Might have come in a little bit too high, honestly. There we go, right there. It's a game of inches. Settle, 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 settle. Want a little bit, and then we got to cut back. We got to cut back at just the right time. Just kissed it on the high side a little bit, and now we're through. It's megs. It's megalithics. We're not going to have a problem. Now, will Jake exhibit the guy who goes second advantage? Also, trading transmitters one to the other, my gracious, if you want to talk about a difference in trigger feel between two vehicles, swap from a Holmes 2200 kV Outrunner to a brushed on a 1080 back to back. It is wildly different. Jake over. Again, maybe a little too high. Jake has this ability, though, to more often than not correct the line in the middle of the line. Got some Lexan sounds. Jake is wider and never feels like it. Is it the advantage of going second, or is it a CG thing? But I mean, is it a CG thing? Jake's battery is on top front right next to his servo. It's chassis mounted steering. Like, through that thing, I felt like I was walking a tighter line to get LoLo through. Not a, like, okay, we're not talking about walking a tight rope. I'm talking about there's a narrower avenue of success. Jake is like, just point me in the general direction. And if you fall out of your desired line, I will get you back onto it. I don't know specifically what effects are coming together in concert. Is it the geo? Is it the luck of the layout? Is it that the things just happen to work together? Whatever it is, Jake is one of the most point and shoot guys that I've got. I've got a soft breeze coming from the, I would say, west-southwest. Probably 2-3 miles an hour. I would describe it as a hand grenade in a porta potty is kind of what's going on. I don't know what they're doing off to my west, but either do it faster or stop doing it, depending on what is actually happening. We're gonna try to walk him. His dig is as effective as any dig that I have. Did I drop in too far? Doesn't matter, it's Jake. We will reposition. Long belly, Capra skid, big. Jake can make the mid-course corrections, honestly, like nobody else. And the way his weight transfers, look how flat he is. That's sideways. I don't think passenger front is touching the ground. We'll do another little dig, pull it down right here, and a little dig here. I mean, look at the angle. If I wasn't fairly confident that LoLo was going to make it, I would just leave Jake parked right there. And now he's lined right up for. Should we? Let's just hit the waterfall. He hit the perfect Jake stick the landing. Okay, up the face. Near perfect approach. Little through the notch. Get in the notch. Come across right there. I gotta grab a little more driver front. Don't get repositioned. Think that was a little bit of a skid hang. We kind of fell. Now see right here, this is where most people, the side of driver rear is binding up on most. Oh, it was a valiant effort, my friend. He can stay in the line longer. Like an amount of time that makes you go, how have we not fallen yet? LoLo coming up. Should get the skid over a good bit easier with that skid forward. Yeah, right there, right through. Comes through a bit high. We don't have dig as a weapon. But megs are going to hold. Get across. Yeah, the geo again there. High side tire was pushing down. Little too high. So we've got an entry that favors portals, and we've got a midsection that certainly favors the straight axle. More clearance, more better, until it isn't. Okay, again, I fell into kind of about the same spot. I need to get that tail loose. There you go. Watching that low side rear come across right there. Little one tire fighting against the other. We had a little pop back. See, same thing. LoLo gets high up across the face there. Even higher than Jake managed to get. I think that's the geo allowing a little bit more articulation. We do a little creep across. Comes right across, even without the dig. Sets down. When you watch high side tire pulling down like that, you know you've gotten closer to where you want to be. Coming down, Rhino and the Holmes with the real low. See, does not over transfer in the front. We're going to kind of drive across Jake here. Jake is acting like a bridge. LoLo coming right through. Jake is okay with this. This is all consensual. If he had an issue with it, he would have put a stop to it by just gunning the throttle while LoLo was on his belly. And everybody suffers in that instance. Jake has said he wants one more stab because he felt good on that. Could potentially have gotten in a little more left. He wants to hit a little higher on this side, which is risky because that tends to just overload the low side and you end up getting dumped. Got C.A.B. in a little bit, little pull. Try to pull the other way, guy. There we go. Over compressed. Doesn't matter how many kg of servo you have. If you make that kind of an entry with the pinch, it's going to overwhelm it. You're using it. Then it's the motor and the servo trying to overcome the motor and the gearbox, and that Victor tends to be the one with way more power. Up high, very, oh, don't fall. Yeah, he got it loaded. He got it loaded, but he's not out of it yet. Okay, that was too far to one side, guy. Jake is a guy that has that line's in his repertoire somewhere. It's got to be the right time on the right day, but my goodness. Now, okay, LoLo, a little narrower on the track. Megalithic's got a bit more bite at the corners. We've got skid forward. Can we approach full left? Yes. Okay, pumpkin, get that loose. Don't want to get too, ooh. Gotta cut it back this way. Up the face, right there. There is where I would like to hit dig, but I don't have it. Okay, repositionability. LoLo is very nearly as forgiving as Jake. Okay, up across that face. Grab on that front, grab on that front. Oh, we were clear. Do you have enough? Do you have enough? It's a merciless line, and honestly, I would say they both get to about the same spot. LoLo gets there a little easier. I don't know if that's skid forward. I don't know if that's portal clearance. I don't know if that's overall weight distribution. But Jake feels more solid the whole way through. Dig is maybe more a weapon than a tool. Well, a weapon would be more for destruction, right? There's an accuracy level. Like you can be more, it feels like Jake can be more pinpoint. We got one left. We've got Tumbled, and I don't even know. I don't even know. It's not because I'm trying to play favorites with two of my favorites, but on the day, it's like dead even. It's bittersweet because we're going to have an episode of C.A.B.S where there's no festival of tuning immediately afterwards. Like, what I would correct on these two guys is nothing. LoLo, left-hander, up the Tumbled face, absolutely effortless. I don't think at any point I even adjusted throttle input. Maybe a small one. And on descent, because we're not like a crazy amount of weight forward, even though it's skid forward. I think I kind of subconsciously compensate. If we have skid forward, so tiny little front links and huge long rear links, I'm not in as big of a hurry to load a bunch of weight onto the front axle. He's got the smaller MEUS weights on the nylons. He runs his battery on a slider because I think, particularly in terms of descending, you can get that bias too far forward. I will forever stand by the notion that you cannot have too much unsprung weight relative to your sprung weight, and until, like, the ratio, right? If we could get all of our weight unsprung, which is impossible, I don't think there would be a negative to that. You can add too much weight to a vehicle, there's no question. And these guys haven't had anything meaningfully changed in terms of weight other than the positive weight reduction LoLo underwent when swapping from a Fusion to an Outrunner. Fusions aren't light. I mean, it is a combo. You do have a speed control and a motor. Jake is a descender. It's a thing that he does. Straight axles are going to descend better than portal axles, all other factors being equal, 100% of the time. Your weight is going to be lower. That's just a thing. Portals are going to add 12 millimeters plus to ride height, also clearance. It's giving something to get something. Portals are not a free lunch. Nothing is a free lunch. Everything is a give to get. Like, bag in the tire is good. Compliance in the tire is good until it isn't. Can't quite see. I wanted to swing a little more. I haven't quite gotten used to the transition. You know what? I'm gonna do it right now. We're gonna go to curve, and we're gonna turn that brake down just a little bit. We're gonna go down about 25% on it. Let's see. Yes, yes. Put a little soft edge on that thing. You know, on a Fusion, you just go into the program card and turn your reverse down. Outrunners do not hold your hand. Getting a little too much transfer, but not a gross amount. Dig would set the front end down right there. Can you turn it? Or are you going to get tumbled? We got to wheel up so high. A little more steering input, maybe not going to help. Yeah, it's pretty narrow. Ooh, that's a load. Tumbled. Living up to its name in stereo and Technicolor. Jake went for the dig around, did not quite have the angle. Got to watch out on the entry here. He do have the low belly. Something about the Geo. The dig just throws the front end down. Like, we'll get into that if we get into that high position, which we're not going to. Oh, Jacob. There's a reason that despite a performance in the Crawlympics finals that I would have regarded as somewhat underwhelming, Jake did not have a particularly good showing in the final round. I really believe, no favoritism, I really do believe he did enough through the rest of the competition that if we were to pick an overall winner, he's green. He's center of your frame right now. Jake is... I just tried to dig LoLo. I just tried to dig turn LoLo. Hot swapping transmitters. Sometimes your brain can't hot swap fast enough. I feel like LoLo's going to have the little edge of an advantage here doing the blind right-hander. That was crazy. That was crazy. Completely out of my vision. Okay. A little more right. Okay. Front end slaps down. We want to stay right there. We need to use more of the fence side. which eventually what we'll do is we'll fall a couple times and then we'll move the chair. But it is remote control, so we're staying remote. If I could see, there we are. I had a sneaking suspicion that LoLo was going to manage that from this spot. There we go. Let's put you up top of the mountain right here. Top of the mountain. And basking in the sun. Now, Jake does not have that clearance, but he does ride real planted like. Whenever he starts to push something out of shape, when you feel that tire start to cut loose, you can catch it. A little more, a little more, a little more. Something about him, man. There is... Jake, you're completely sideways. There is a je ne sais quoi to our man. I'm completely out of my line. Okay, no one has managed to get in there, much less out of there. That was a two-handed extraction. Now let's see. How do we do when I can see? I want a little more. Not that much, Jake. It's too much. Look at that. Can we fix that? Yeah. Both of these guys are guys where you're rarely going to have to get up because A, they don't flip as often as others. I'm in a dig positioning on there. Jake, what are you doing? Want to stay high, get that bite, get that rear up over, and then the pull right there. It's funny how when you can see the line, it gets easier. The blind line adds that extra flavor. This is not a no winners, no losers situation. This is winner versus winner. I would take either, but the true beauty of the situation is I don't have to choose. I have them both. They are both indicative of this. This is full canyon style. These are cobble builds sharing virtually, aside from J Concepts Green, and both of them being attached to Radiolink RC4s, like no parts in common. Different servos, different motors, different skids, different gearboxes, different chassis, different wheels, bodies, everything. They're both, I mean, forgive me if I overstep, they're both great. They really are. Jake and LoLo are two of the heavier hitters in the fleet. Good at a whole lot of things. This is why, because we like to get controversial at the end of every episode, or introduce some controversy anywhere. This is why, whenever some new product release comes along, and they like to say some sort of absurdist hyperbole like, you're gonna need harder lines. No, I'm not. Different lines, maybe. New. If all they had said, if they had changed that ad copy to was, you're gonna need new lines, perfectly acceptable. That's 100% correct. Couple of solid performers here. In the Canyon style. And in the Canyon fashion. Would like to take this opportunity to thank you so much for watching. Invite you to tune in to whatever we happen to have next. And in between now and that moment, whenever it might be, please one and all, do your very best to have a good one, everybody. We will see you again here from the Canyon. Jake and LoLo wish you a fond farewell. And, you know, the usual. Hit me in the comments below. We will see you in the next one.